Eddie Guajardo on the ground in Uvalde on a hugely important day in the town's history. Many thanks, Addie. I want to bring in Greg Shaffer. He's a former supervisory special agent at the FBI and a member of their hostage rescue team. Currently, he's a principal at the Active Shooter Prevention Project. Greg, it's been almost 2 years since the shooting. The DOJ's investigation is nearly 600 pages long. Some deeply upsetting details inside this report. What exactly stands out to you here?
Well, Christian, thanks for having me. What really stands out is the dire need for additional training for our police officers. It was described early on as an abject failure and a colossal failure was used in the report as well. And that's exactly what it was. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. But more importantly, it was a total breakdown of command, control, and communication. The police chief of the Uvalde ISD, Independent School District Police Force, was on site very early on, did not take control of the event, of the crises. And you could tell with everything that's come out that there was no prior planning to this. They didn't do any kind of prior planning or mass casualty exercise or tabletop exercise. It was just a colossal amount of chaos that went on. It was groupthink that became infectious. And as a result of that, there was no problem solving being done. Almost 400 police officers responded. They were all told different things. Nobody stepped up to the plate. And even 48 minutes into the event, the shooter fired additional rounds. He shot more rounds 48 minutes into it. That should have told every police officer on site at that minute, we need to go. We got to move in, got to stop the threat. Because if he's firing his weapon, what is he doing? He's killing more kids.
The report says the most significant failure was that responding officers should have immediately recognized the incident as an active shooter situation. Instead, there was what's called a barricaded shooter approach. What's the difference here, Greg, and what's the lesson for other law enforcement agencies?
Oh, it's a huge difference, Christian. On an active shooter event, you have one goal in mind: eliminate the threat. As we say in our world, you need to stop the killing before you stop the dying. Within 3 minutes of the first shot being fired, 11 police officers were on scene, according to the report. 11. I see 11 versus 1. Now, they did go down the hallway and try to attempt some kind of entry, but the shooter heard him out in the hallway, fired a few rounds through the door, and splinters, somehow, scared the police to back away. No, wrong answer. At that particular point in time, in that instance, in that critical incident, when those shots came through that door, they needed to kick that door in or open the door, because we do know that it was unlocked. Open the door and put all 11 men in that room, 11 against 1. That's the bad day for the shooter. This should have ended long beforehand. In a barricaded subject incident, you wait them out. There are no hostages in the barricaded subject. There are no victims bleeding on the floor that need medical attention right now. A barricaded subject, you wait them out. You turn the electricity off if it's too cold or too hot, so they get hot and cold. You don't give them food. You turn their TVs off so they can't watch the news. You wait them out. That's what a barricaded subject is. You have all the time in the world. In an active shooter event, time is of the essence. You've got to eliminate the threat and save the children.
Yeah, it sounds like the difference here is exactly, who else is involved, if there are hostages or not. Greg, with the last 40 seconds we have here, there are a number of ongoing investigations from state, local, and federal agencies. Does this DOJ report put pressure on those other entities to get moving on their reports?
Oh, absolutely. And these, as your reporter also mentioned, that there are definitely going to be either criminal or civil lawsuits coming out. So if other agencies don't have their report, they don't have their policies in place, they better get on board, because this is going to be a liability nightmare for those in command of this incident and those in charge.
Greg Shaffer, we appreciate your expertise on such an important night like this. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. Folks, at the end of the day, this